Hello, boys and girls. This is Mr. So again. Welcome back for another lesson of biology. Today we are going through lesson 7 about the genes for chapter 26. Before you start the video, remember to like and subscribe my channel and also share your video to your classmate and remind them to do their revision at home. Let's start. After this lesson, you will be able to know what exactly is gene. 基因. When you take a look at a chromosome, a very small part, for example, this part of a chromosome, if you magnify it, you'll be able to see the DNA inside. And the DNA exists as a double helix with many nitrogenous bases in the middle. And for this particular part, this particular length, we call it a segment. 一段. This particular segment of DNA, we call it a gene. And this gene, it actually is the basic unit of heredity. 遺傳嘅資訊. Showing in here now, there is actually a gene and it shows you the base sequence. I gave you an example in here, for example, AAT, TCC, GGC, and CCG. These base sequence, they are very useful and they work in a group of 3. And we call this grouping of 3 in here genetic code. 遺傳密碼. And this genetic code, each of them, they code for one amino acid, such as, for example, AAT in here is going to code for a rectangle here. And then for TCC, it's going to code for another amino acid, which is maybe a triangle. And then for GGC, it's going to code for another amino acid, circle in shape. And then last but not least, maybe for the CCG, it's going to code for another amino acid like this. After coding so many different amino acids, these amino acids, they will join together. And once they join together, we call this joining of amino acid polypeptide, which is a chain. And this polypeptide chain, 一條鏈啊, they are going to fold up and become a 3-dimensional 3D 立體嘅 protein, which now a gene turns into a protein. So now, given the idea that for the gene, for the particular segment and part of DNA, they have the genetic code, for example, ATC, CCG, GCC, TTA, AGG, etc. So these helps to code for amino acid. And once they code for the amino acid, and then it will form a polypeptide. And this polypeptide, later on, they can fold up 捲埋啦 to give a 3-dimensional 3D 立體嘅 protein. So this is a protein. And in such saying, we will say that the theory, it gives that if you have one gene, you can make one protein. This is how gene works. So now you get the idea that genes, it helps to control and make protein. And different genes, they have different functions to make different protein and helps your body to work. Such as you might make some structural protein, maybe your fingernails or maybe your hair structure. And then some proteins, they might work as an enzyme, which helps in your digestion. Some proteins, they work as a hormone, like what you have learned in chapter 24, the insulin, 胰島素. They helps you to regulate your blood glucose level. And genes are very important for making the correct protein to regulate your body activity. Knowing the idea that the theory of one gene forming one protein, so it gives a person the character. So using the man in the picture here, he has obviously some curly hair texture. So what gene does he have? He has a gene for curly hair. So this is actually a structural protein. It gives some curly hair. What else does this man has? He might also has some important genes such as the insulin production gene. What else? He has rather dark skin color, so he might also have a gene for skin color production. So at the very end of this lesson, I would like to ask you a question. Does all the genes in your body express in all the body cells? That means, for example, does your skin cells, they make insulin? Your skin cells, they have all the DNA, they have all the genes in your body. They also have the insulin genes. Will your skin body make insulin gene? And other questions. In your face, you have all the DNA, you have all the genes on your face cells. Will your face suddenly grow out of fingernails? Will it be possible? No, of course not. So therefore, we can conclude that all body cells, they have the same amount of genes, they have the same exactly types of gene, but they will not always express, or sometimes we call it switch on, 唔會同時都開着晒嘅. They will not always express and switch on every time, every day in all of our cells. All our body cells, they have the same amount of DNA and genes, but the genes, they will only switch on in the correct position and correct places in your body, such as in your hand. In your hand, it only switch on the genes that are important for making up the hand, the finger, the nails. And in your hand, you will not switch on the gene for making your ears or your eye. Therefore, the genes, they only work on specific places and express and switch on only in the correct places. If your genes, they switch on or express inappropriately on the wrong parts, what happens? This is what happens. You might see a ear growing on the back of the mouse. This is what we call the wrong expression on genes. Or actually, this is what we have been doing in the research industry. People, the scientists, they have been trying to grow out a human ear on the body, on the back of a mouse. This is how we manipulate 控制 the gene expression. But unless we are doing the manipulation, normally our body, they are very smart. They will choose to switch on and express the correct gene only in the correct places. So this is how amazing our body is. All right, so that's it for this chapter. I will hope that all of you try to go home and do a little bit of revision. I know this is a little bit confused and difficult. Try to do more revision at home and read more from the book. All right, I will see you on the next lesson. Bye bye.